Hello, hello. Happy Monday, January 19th, 2026. Um, sorry for the Hans, good afternoon. How are you? Juicy, Gary, how are you in YouTube? Gabriel, hello, hello. Um, sorry for the late arrival today. Um, I had one of those classic doctor's appointments that was supposed to last. I scared you. You thought you were going to have to be productive this afternoon? I had a doctor's appointment that was literally supposed to be 10 minutes. It was booked for 10 minutes. Um, and I got there early and it took well over an hour, because it morphed into something else. Um, so all is good, but here we are. Um, and unfortunately I had Lisa with me, and I'm like, you know, anyway. Let's address the elephant in the room. Friday, no podcast this past Friday. There has been some winter weather here. Lisa was not feeling well, and my daughter couldn't get here, so we were not able to do the podcast. I would have probably done it Saturday, but I had a doctor's appointment on Saturday too, so that wasn't the best thing. So, and then of course yesterday was Pen Club, our first one of the year, which went off mostly without a hitch until this morning. I found out I didn't email we had to create a new email account, and I imported all the emails in, and to create a distribution group, I had to, click and drag into the group, and I missed like 9 people. It was on Facebook, so I guess, if you're not on Facebook, then I'm sorry. But anyway, so we had Pen Club yesterday, and I just said, you know what, we'll do there we go. We'll just skip the week, unfortunately, and go from there. So here we are. I literally just got back from the appointment, so there will probably be a short break at some point to re-up on the beverages, because my coffee is cold. And if you know me, I hate cold coffee. Actually, it's lukewarm. It's from 7 o'clock. I have some that I had heated. I had in the pot warming up, but of course it went off because I was gone so dang long. So I'm going to jump out and get that, or a soda. I don't know what I'm going to get. So anyway, that's enough of me blathering on. What do we have today? We were working on yesterday. Oh, I guess I got a pen in the water. I've got a 51 I got to seal up, I just noticed. And we got a Moore, a Waterman, a Sheaffer, and a nice looking Waterman 52.5V. So let's take a look at what's on the bench. All right. So there's our Moore. That looks good. And this was the one with the new replacement half. It's actually a really, really nice barrel. I do not need any more Moore. But that's a good looking pen. Really, really good looking pen. And this, let's take a look at this. This we had in the Dr. G solution, which is now nice and on its way to being the next clear as the new black. The funny thing that happened this weekend is I rediscovered eBay. And man, I don't know. what an addictive thing that is. I didn't win anything yet. The auctions I'm interested in go till next weekend, but no. There was some really tasty morsels out there on the bay that fit my very niche collecting interests. But I think I'm going to hold back up. I used to have, I'll have to look into it again, but I used to have sniping software. I had an account with, gosh, what was the name of it? I can't even remember the name of it. Auction Sniper or something. I want to say the logo was green and white. And I would use that to some success. Yeah, this is Black Hard Rubber. If you remember this from last week, it was pretty nasty. This is cleaned up real nice around the lever box. And we replaced the cap too. So the nice thing about... Oh, and this cap's got a crack in it too. Shoot. Well, that's not good. I was hoping to have a crack-free cap. I'm going to have to look again. The other one had a little wire band around it or something. That was no good. And now that we've got some crud off, let me take a look at this lever box here. Because it looks like I see a crack or a start of a crack in the lever box. Yeah, it looks like there is one there. Now, it's only on one side. So the question then becomes, at least from a reseller's standpoint, is it worth fixing this pen? We've got a cracked cap. We have half of a broken lever box. If I recall correctly, this was a stub nib, though. It's a Canadian, looks like a stub. Nib looks good. The question becomes, is that worth restoring? Because they're not worth... Is the barrel Canadian? No, I don't think it is. It's not. You know, you've got to mark it down for a crack in the cap. You've got to mark it down for a crack in the lever box. And these pens are pretty easy to get. Let me just look real quick to make sure I don't have something I can put this nib in. Yeah, a stub nib would make it more of a premium product, but if I have to mark it down, I mean, how much do I have to mark it down in price to attract somebody who wants a cracked cap and a cracked lever box? That's the problem. Put a boring nib in the flawed cap and barrel. So let's see. So this cap is terrible. This is the one that was on the pen. The gold fill is heavily worn, but a good lever box with a kind of a crappy nib. This one looks like a good lever box. Yeah, those compromised parts, yeah, I don't really get. So this is a pretty heavily oxidized pen, but it's complete. I don't see any issues with this guy. But this has got a nice number 2 flexible nib. And this is a really great cap and barrel, but the lever box is shot. And I'm missing a ring top, which isn't a huge deal. So I'm going to make one out of all of these. This one is probably the one, but then do I put the Canadian stub nib in there? Do I leave the, although that's a New York number 2, I could use that in something else. Yeah, it's a little bit of a flexible stub too. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I think we're going to use this barrel. That's going to go into parts. Now we're going to have to, I'm going to have to deoxidize this one. Placing a lever box on stream would be an interesting experience for the viewers. Yeah, if I had an extra lever box. You know, I mean, I don't want to take it out of this pen. I mean, this is a... And I'd have to prep that because I have to find I have a tool for that somewhere. And I haven't done it in years, so. You hear it's a nerve-wracking job. Well, I mean, so the lever, box, the lever box has two sets of tabs. So these are the two ends of the box, and then the box sits up on the top. And so what you have to do is you have to, let's say this hand here is the front of the pen. You have to bend down this tab. You have to bend the tab and hope it doesn't break. And then you insert it in the box, get it in place, and then bend this back tight to the barrel. These two pieces here, these two sets of tabs, grab onto the lever, the hard rubber, and they keep the box in place. And the lever is pinned into the box, and that's how that works. So the big deal is trying not to break the box when you bend the lever. Okay, so this is way too loose. Yeah, see, this one's got a loose tab. I can see this. I'm going to take a look at this one here and see if we can show it. Oh, yeah. All right, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Nah, you can't see that. There's not enough light here to... Let's see if I can shine some light on this. There we go. Let me... So you can see at the top, there's a little... Right there. That's the tab. It is actually bent down. And so you've got to take the bar out. And for whatever reason, that tab is bent down, which is what is causing this particular pen. You see how that sits? It's wiggling there. It's because that tab isn't locked into place. Now this tab has got, it's not cracked, but it's got some stress marks here on the box. Excuse me. I need to see if I got that spool. Hang tight. I got to step aside here to see if I can find it. Here it is. So this is the tool. You know what just happened? Well, something fell out of that barrel, but I thought it was the tab, but it's not. So let's see. This, if I'm not mistaken, this goes in through the front. Yeah, this whole thing is a disaster. It's too stressed in the middle here to allow me to crimp this without this box is just destroyed. Yeah, this box is not salvageable. It just collapsed on me, so I'm not even going to bother messing with it. And I have to refresh my memory on using that tool. Was that for that, or was that for this? All right, so this was the barrel for that. We're going to knock those out, and we're going to clean this. All right, so it's been so long since I used this, I can't remember exactly the procedure. I used to have it written down somewhere, but I don't even remember who I got that from. It was not a Dale BB tool. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to knock these out and just swap them, because the one section is very loose in the new barrel. So okay, we're going to use that same old feed. And then just put this one back in this pen. If I need a nice number 2 nib, then I know where to get one. But the Deox did a nice job. It's a pity. It's a pity, you know, and that's the problem. Sometimes you clean something, there's so much dirt, and by the time you clean it up, is only then when you notice that there are issues. Drop that in there. All right, we've been soaking this shaper here. Let's see if we can get that open. Very light traffic in Philly. How was the weather in Philly? All right, there we go. So each day worse on Sunday. Yeah, that's how it always is, right? I like Philly, but I just don't like that weather. All right, so that was, you can see the residue. This white stuff. That was causing that to be really tight. Yeah, I'll pass on that drive. You know, like the same people are going to Baltimore. So, generally speaking. We're still ironing out the potential show schedule for the year. We were doing that earlier today, even still. And I think we can finally start making some arrangements. I kind of had to wait till today. All right, so not that it matters anymore, but I put this in the ultrasonic to see if I get any ink out of there, and now I can put it in the deox. You got enough pens coming this week to make up for not going to a show? Yeah, you do. And I don't even know half of what you got. I'm just excited for my small little portion. You don't really, yeah, I know. I do hope you send me pictures. All right. Those are the best kind of packages. You know that the stuff you're getting is good, but then there's extra stuff. Brian show schedule: LA, Baltimore, Chicago, Tokyo, and Ohio. Yeah, right. Yeah, not LA. I think I might skip St. Louis this year. I might skip it. Baltimore, Chicago. I mean, it's too close. I mean, I guess it's almost a full 2 months after the Ohio show or the Chicago show. But you know, I was discussing with Lisa. You know, I got enough inventory now for I got more inventory than I can shoot, so it almost doesn't make sense for me to go to more shows to buy more inventory that I'm not going to be able to sell any month soon. Yeah, I'd be better with DC. You know, and I also do a healthy amount of, especially in the summer, we'll do a healthy amount of driving around to antique shops and things like that. So that kind of makes up for, and usually we luck out pretty well. Yeah, Tokyo would be great, but you know, I mean, I can't imagine. See, I've been ruined. I've been to Tokyo once, and I went. What do they call that? Premium economy, which is about 4 times as expensive as regular coach. And there was no way I would ever do that flight in coach, having done it in premium economy. I've never flown first class or anything like that, but as far as I'm concerned, that was first class. There's a small little area, big wide seats, you know, we got slippers, we got, you know, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do whatever it was, you know, 13 hours or something like that. I just couldn't do it. And it's like 4 times the cost. It's like $3,000 to go. Let the Pence come to me, which they seem to be doing. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, if you don't go to a show, you know, when you go to a show, you can pick and choose. You know, and I usually like to grab a pen here or there for the collection. But you know, when I get somebody walking in off the street to sell me something, it could be a bunch of crap. It could be 10 more Esterbrookes that I don't need now, you know. So it is advantageous to. Tokyo's only 10 hours for you? Yeah. I still don't know that I want to do 10 hours in coach. I mean, you can go coach. It was, well, last I looked, which was a while ago, coach is like $800 to Japan, to Tokyo, which is not bad, but crammed in that in like sardines, no, I can't do it. I'd have to pay, I'm spoiled. I'd have to pay the $3,000 to do the premium economy. It is the only way to travel. You know, and then you've got your own. We only had like, on that plane, we probably had, I think we only had like 5 rows in premium economy that were two seats on the ends and like 4 in the middle. So 4, 6, 7, 8. So maybe no more than 40 seats in premium economy. And there were, I want to say there were 4 bathrooms just for premium economy. Yeah, it was nice. Really nice. Which airline? I don't remember what airline it was, quite honestly. I remember the trip home was awful. It was beyond awful. It was just, I want to say that was, yeah, no, that wasn't the trip. I'm getting confused. I went on a trip once and then I came back and my car was snowed in they had plowed the parking lot, but of course they plowed all the cars in, and I had like, it was a major snowstorm, and I think I had like 3 feet of snow to dig out. So I vowed I would never go to the Milwaukee airport again without having, in the middle of winter, without having a shovel in the back of the car. But no, we flew Milwaukee to LA. I just don't remember. I don't remember. We got the lounge pass, which was amazing. You know, they had soup and all sorts of cool, you know, nice things to eat and munch on. You flew Japan Airways last year, which is very good. This year would not be the year to go because I know, you know, obviously Lisa would want to go, right? I'm absolutely not doing that by myself. You know, we did pretty well navigating Tokyo on our own when we were there for the most part. But she's got her own trip, family trip planned in June for Europe, and we'll see if that happens. All right. I could get a Japanese smoking jacket. I absolutely could. Growing up, your brother and I bought short shovels and painted them Christmas colors and marked them mom and dad for the cars for winter use. Yeah, I would. It's like I couldn't believe it. And that one trip, as I recall, it was we were visiting Lisa's mom in Florida, and that's when they had the big snowstorm, because our flight was delayed leaving Florida a day, which, you know, ooh, boo-hoo, we had to stay in Florida an extra day. But when we got to Milwaukee, it was brutally cold, and we didn't actually prepare for that. We didn't bring winter coats, so we didn't have winter coats or gloves, as I recall, because we're going to Florida, and we had to shovel out the car. I don't know how the hell we did it, and get it warmed up and get all the ice off the window, because everything was iced up. And then when we got home, because then, you know, then it's another hour and 45 minutes from the airport to my house. And so we're already tired. Get home, I can't get in the driveway because my street was never plowed. And when they plowed it, they would just, you know, just pile it up. So I couldn't get the car in the driveway. I had to get out, and it was, I don't remember what hour of the night it was, but I was not a happy camper. It's the only time I've never wanted to blow snow was on that trip. But traveling alone doesn't appeal to you. Yeah, and it's no fun. You got to share the adventure. We went with the group to Tokyo. I could have done without probably half of the people. Just it's, when your group gets too large, people want to do different things, and then, you know, chaos ensues. So I'm going to take a quick 30-second break here. I'm going to put some coffee in my thing here, and I'll be right back. All right, that's much better. All right, let's see what we got in the ultrasonic. Enjoy the soothing sounds of the ultrasonic while you wait. Yeah. That's what it is. Well, that nib turned out nice. This is really good color on this Jade. I really like it. Just going to spin that cap out. All right, let's get some sacks, huh? Well, let's see what this. The mechanical pencil you got for me was a hit at the pen club last night. You may be getting a new mechanism for it from your friend. He's looking. Yeah, I don't. It didn't seem right. I mean, it sort of works, but there's got to be something in it that's cracked or broken or something. I mean, if it were just a pencil, it would be, you know, a $15 job, if that. Although that material is striking, is very, very striking material. My I got the feeling yesterday that one of our topic for discussion, our big topic for discussion, which was kind of funny, was you know, maybe pens that you got for Christmas or pen related things you got for Christmas or since the last club meeting. And I did show off the Sheaffer no nonsense Esterbrook nibbed pen. But I get the distinct feeling that when I talk at these club events, these club meetings, like people just their eyes just gloss over. Right, talking about old crap again. Vintage Sheaffer engraving, yada yada yada. Do you get the same? Do you get the same? And it was so funny because it wasn't I'm trying to think how many people we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we had 12 people in attendance, 13 people in attendance, including me. Lisa still wasn't feeling well. She's been kind of down and out for the last week. So there are 13 people, and we started going around the room, and you know, I showed off my Sheaffer, and then I had I passed that around. I didn't bother to pass around the Twisby Obsidian. I think people know what a Twisby is. Plus, I didn't have an ink, so it didn't really matter. And somebody else had one of theirs too. And then I had my new Parker book, and like I passed it around, and it didn't like even make it to the third table. It like they just set it there, and then that was it. And nobody looked at it. And I was just like, okay. I mean, that's who I am, man. I mean, and then so we did our table, my table, there was a second table, and we got like partway through the third table, and then for some weird reason, we stopped discussing the pens that we had gotten since the last meeting, and that was that. It just morphed into just like people chatting with each other, and it was kind of funny. So we had some folks that were coming up with suggestions because they said, well, I'm not trying to come up with ideas for pen club. I don't want to be. I'm not the one who entertains people, although I probably am quite entertaining. So if you've got an idea, speak up, or something you want to talk about, or something you're passionate about, some different way that you like to use your pens, and you want to put together a 10, 15-minute presentation, and then let's do that. So we had somebody recommend say something. Oh, well, we should talk about planners next month. They said, great, I'll put you down as you're going to lead the discussion. I thought it was funny. We actually have one member who actually is putting together. He's been doing some research, and it sounds really pretty interesting on authors and writers and the pens that they use. So he's got a list. And what we're going to do is he's going to get me the list, and we're going to see if between the two of us, we can't pull all the pens together that, if you've got Mark Twain on there, okay, well, I'll bring a Conklin Crescent, and different authors and what they may or may not have used. I thought that was maybe an interesting topic of discussion. I mean, it may not be. I don't know that we're going to be able to go around the room and chat too much about it, but you received the M200, copper and rose gold, smooth. You inked it with Pelican Brilliant Brown. Yeah, that's a good color for it. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you like it. The more important question is how is the 21? Are you using the 21? After all the trouble we went through, I really hope you're using the 21. It actually rolled quite nicely, with the section that we put on there. But yeah, and our token vintage guy wasn't at the meeting yesterday, so I mean we got a couple people who have some vintage pens. But their knowledge basically ends as far as whatever I told them how old the pen is and how it fills, and that's kind of, they like how it writes, and that's about it. Like two people looked like turned pages in my Parker book. I thought it was hilarious. But I did get a nice gift from one of our regular members. She's really a gem. She had told me she was bringing a Sheaffer trumpet or desk set for me. I don't know where she gets these things. I really don't. Because she's really more of a modern collector than anything else. And she forgot to bring it, like over Christmas. She had stopped by the shop, and so she said, well, I'll bring it. She had 2 orders for me to deliver for her, and she said, I'll bring it to the pen club. Said, great. Well, she's just going to give it to me. They got nothing. She doesn't have a base for it. It's just a trumpet. And she brings it over, and we've been making a joke around the shop that we have these blue bags, which used to be the old color of the old company. And so when people come and pick something up, I'm like, well, I got to put it in a bag, right? You know, and so I said, well, these are limited edition bags, you know, because I think there's one left on the shelf after today. I had somebody pick up a local lady come and pick up a Vanishing Point today, and so I have one bag left, and we're going to order new bags, and they'll be in red, because you know, Cardinals and such, and sure enough, she comes over, she brings me the Sheaffer trumpet. And then she says, "It's there's a pen in there for you too." Now it doesn't fit. It's a desk pen. It doesn't fit the trumpet. And so it was right at the beginning of the meeting. So I said, "Well, I'll take a look at it later. Thank you very much." And then she brought over a bag of bags. So I was down to 1 today, and she brought me, I think, 3 or 4 more blue bags. And then she says, "Well," and of course I gave her one, and she says, "Well, the next time I see you, I'll recycle this one and give it back to you." So I'm not out of the woods just yet. But the desk pen was an Imperial Touchdown with a lovely kind of a fine stub nib. It looks great. I'll have to scour through to see if I got a trumpet for it. I probably do. I was not expecting that. In fact, I didn't even know she had a pen, so. You are using the 21? Great. It stays at home safe on your desk. Okay, good. Good. As long as you're using it. I mean, you don't have to. But I tell you what, if I had a pen of my dad's or grandpa's or something, I would definitely want to use it. A little disappointed I don't have one of my grandfather's, but they were not the most affluent. He was born in 1920. So, I mean, even in his high school would have been middle 30s, would have been Sheaffer balance era. Did we have a good turnout with it being early news? I mean, you know, we've got about a solid half dozen that are always there. And we had 2 new attendees, which was nice, which was funny because I was alerted that there was somebody was going to bring a new person. They gave me their name. And they didn't show up, but 2 other people did. So, 2 lovely young people. I kind of liked it at noon. I mean, 1 to 3 is fine, but I was sitting down and I was having my coffee. I slept in a little bit and I had my coffee and I'm looking down. I'm like, oh crap, I have to go. You know, because I don't know. This is my first time running it, so to speak. And I knew I had to go and get a key and all this jazz. And I drive there and it's like the city just south of here. So it's not that far. It's a 10-minute drive. But I literally pull in the parking lot and I'm thinking to myself, well, who am I going to see today? Oh, we're going to see, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm going to see Lynn. And I'm like, oh, crap. I left 2 packages on the hutch at home. And so I literally pulled in, did a U-turn, drove straight home, called Lisa. I said, grab the packages. Thank goodness I left like a half an hour early. But I wasn't, you know, they would have been cool. But I don't want to have to ship them if I don't have to. And oops. Well, when this has been in here, it gets slippery. And always make sure to remember to dump it out. All right, let's see. This is the 3rd time a charm for this nib. You have to hunt the antique stores with a friend, see what treasures you can convince yourself you don't need. All right. Be well, Gabriel. Find any interesting old stuff, let me know. I need to make a run over to the local antique mall. It's actually not too far from the shop here. The thing I hate about some of these malls is they're so big that even if you huff through it, it's an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. There's a model hard rubber Waterman 58 there right now. Yeah, I bet there is. Listen, I got into so much trouble for getting the last 58. So much trouble. I don't think I want to do that again anytime soon. I actually haven't sold the 2 pens that I agreed to sell yet, in trade for the Waterman. All right, so that turned out kind of nice. We'll put a little rejuvenator on that. Let's see how well this one's going to turn out. The other thing is that the mall's so big that and there's very rarely pens there. I mean, I think the last pen I bought there was this past summer. Was an Aiken Lambert with no cap. So that was a drag, but I mean, it's an Aiken Lambert. I guess I shouldn't complain when you find an Aiken Lambert in the wild still. 115 years later or whatever it is. But you can't. It's difficult to form relationships with the owners because the owner's never there, right? It's not like a single sole proprietor that's going to say, "Oh, listen, when pens come in, I'll buy them." These are just people who are, and I don't know how they operate, but I know my mother used to do a lot of stuff in craft stores, and then she was required like once, to do so many hours a month to work behind the counter, and that's how they staff their store. Well, this could be the same thing. Or they're teenagers or whatever. Oh, I love that smell. These are things I'm weird when I do that. But if you know, you know. It sure does clean up the trim nice. Let that evaporate. Yeah, so maybe this weekend, although the weather's supposed to be brutally cold. We may go look for that smoking jacket. What would blackened Dr. G do to red ebonite? Well, Dr. G's is just going to take off the oxidation, so it doesn't really matter. Are you talking about if it's kind of dark like this? Some of this is ink. It's not going to stain the ebonite. You hope that smoking jacket's still there, maybe with some nice green shoes to match. I know where the green shoes are, but I think I sent you a picture of the green shoes. I think they were too big for me. I want to say they were like size 11 or 12 or something obnoxious. Size 12. Yeah, they were big. Yeah, they were big for both of us. Because I think you and I have the same size shoe, which is dangerous. Not good for either of us. Yeah. But I'm still a little fuzzy on. Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on the location of the smoking jacket. Because I saw multiples. And I'm certain there was a green one, but there was also a black one. I know where the black one was. But I don't think the green one was at the same place. Paisley scent line. Okay, so I have to make a confession. So, I have this thing for coats. Lisa's not happy about it, but her rule is if I have a coat, I have to wear it. So as long as I wear it, she's fine. So a few weeks ago, I decided I was going to wear a different coat to work every day. And then after somewhere in the middle of the second week, I ran out of, I had to, start over. So that was fine. I thought, well, there. I've worn every coat at least once. And the cardinal printed on the back, yeah. Like a biker jacket. And so when it gets really cold, there's one jacket that I wear. I've got a double-breasted wool coat, and it's just the warmest coat I own. So that when it gets really cold, that's what I wear. And if it warms up a little bit, then I can wear any of the rest. It'll be fine. So I have a lot of dark colored coats in the closet, and I go to pick what I believe is the wool coat, and I grab this coat and I'm like, what is this? Like, I vaguely recall buying it. There used to be a resale shop down the street from our first store that we had. We'd go to lunch, and then on the way back to the store, we would pass this resale shop. And it was like 95% women's clothing, and then like a little tiny, like 2, maybe 3 racks of men's clothes. And every time I'd walk in there, I'd find something. It would just drive Lisa nuts. I think I bought 3 coats there. I think I bought this there. The sleeves are a smidge short, but they work. But I want to say I paid $50 for it. It's just a beautiful coat. There's one I forgot. Because I have other black full-length coats. So I got to wear that one for a couple of days. All right. So I think I've identified all my coats now. But there is another coat that I like at that shop, so. And it wasn't terribly expensive. I want to say it was maybe $75. And I believe it was wool. Yeah, so there was a little bit of, I don't know what was on here, but just a quick dunk in the Dr. G's and it came right off. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely velvet. Absolutely velvet. All right. Off to gym. All right, Gary. Take care. Let's clean this nib as long as we got it out. I hope this nib is going to be as fun as it seems it's going to be. I love it when they go in just right. Wow, it looks great. I'll see if we get a close up of it here. Nice stubby Canadian. Maybe kind of a medium stub. clean out these threads. Let's get in here. I'm still going to put some rejuvenator on there, but I'm going to get a sack for this, so at least we can get the sack on the section and get that drying. I'm determined to make this thing work. That didn't sound good. What the hell was that? Look at that. Something didn't sound right when I did that. Something snapped in place. Yeah, see now I've been following so many auctions that now my phone is going off all the time. I'm not gonna get the pens for the $9.99 opening price. That is most certain at this point. Which means I have to decide which ones I really want, and I think I know what that answer is. One of the beautiful things about if there's a silver lining, one of the beautiful things about selling off a bunch of your pens is that starting over means you can do whatever you want. You don't have to collect the same stuff you used to collect. You can, but in my experience, oftentimes that results in disappointment. You bid $10.01 and everyone you were watching? You dog. Yeah, starting over does have serious appeal. You strongly considered it for years. Yeah. Yes. Kimonosis. Did I pronounce that correctly? Over on YouTube says you also know what you like and go seek that first and do not have to experiment as much. That is correct. And there's always stuff graduating to old. Well, yes. You know, I still like what I like. You know, I still like if it's ebonite, perfect. But there's literally hundreds and hundreds of different manufacturers, you know, in the first, you know, in the pre 1920, hundreds and hundreds of manufacturers. And for me, there's appeal in small manufacturers. Small manufacturers, yes, harder to find, very hard to find. But I'm in it for the long haul, so you know the chase is interesting. I've got to seal this. I realize I did not seal this 51 from last week. So sometimes you get that added extra benefit of when you do get a win, you hit. It's a big rush. I've started over a couple of times. Well, this is probably the second big starting over. I sold off years and years and years and years ago. A long time ago, actually. Now, pushing 18 years ago, I sold off pretty close to half of my collection. Because I had to. And it's different when you have to versus not have to. But I think sometimes you, as a collector, you collect things because that's what you collect. And your interest may have waned over the years. Maybe you're not as interested, but you're invested now, right? I mean, I like Esterbrook, but you know, were I to do it over, might not be my first choice. But it was the economical choice, so you know. All right, so that one's gonna sit. Oh, Hans, here's the one we were talking about. And actually, I should wipe this off. This is one of these stupid games that I'm going to play. And we showed this off last week. Made under Wert and Stone patents. And then right above it, you can barely make out Mercantile. So this is an early, my research tells me, could be taper cap, could be cone cap, but overfeed. And it's got some chasing on here. Yeah, it is dirty. Believe it or not, I bought this in North Carolina. I bought this in North Carolina at the Raleigh Pen Show one year. And didn't discover it until last year. I'm hesitant to put it in the Dr. G's. I don't need it to be. I mean, at this point, it's not really a pen, right? I mean, there's no nib, there's no feed, there's no section. So maybe I got nothing to lose. Yeah, it is neat. And I bet there's stuff on there, and I really would like to get it off. And I'm all about using the Dr. G's, don't get me wrong. But sometimes on my own pens, and the joke was for a long time, Lisa would always say, you know, we should polish those up. No, I don't polish my pens. Pens in my collection, I like almost never polish. No micro mesh, no micro gloss, nothing. Yeah, leave it be. I mean, I bet a little micro gloss on a cloth would probably be the best solution for this. Because I don't want to alter this barrel in any way. I mean, this is fine. This is not this pen I intend for somebody to use and enjoy. This pen, even if I could find the remaining 4 parts, is going to be, it would be inked like once and then cleaned out and promptly put away. Yeah, maybe 1. Let's see. I got some 1 here. Let's try that just for fun. I've got way too many of my personal pens here that I've acquired in the last 6 months, sitting on my desk waiting for parts. Got a little bit of 1. I think I'm gonna just kind of dab it in the cloth. It actually looks like it was exposed to some heat at some point, because the Wert and Stone imprint is actually proud of the barrel. So it got hot enough that it rose above the barrel. Although the Mercantile imprint didn't. So Hans, when I was talking to you the other night about, I don't like to put parts in the in with the rest of the collection. That's kind of one that it's just such a, it's an interesting piece. I probably need a little bit more. I just want to get the dirt off. That's all I really want to do. That part, that part is more interesting than most pens you see. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it? And it does have a little bit of a chasing on it. I don't think that cleaned up very well. There's nothing on the butt end of the barrel. There never usually was with Aiken. But this is such an unusual pen. I mean, it's early. It's very early. I got to look up the patent actually, but I believe it relates to an overfeed. And there was some talk that was Wirt making the early Aikens or Aiken was making the early Wirts. I can't remember how that all boiled down. I should show this to Matthew Greenberger and see what he says, but it's a super cool piece. I think the nib unit is fairly common, so I mean, I'll never finish it, but it's good to have a goal, right? All right, let's see what we got. Should we polish? Should we wipe these down, and then I should pick some more pens. When I wipe this off, I like to leave it a little bit damp. And I just get the get it nice and smooth, get all the excess off, but leave it, you can leave a little bit on there, and then it will dry, and then you can buff it up the next day. But you can already see it's how shiny it is under the light. So that's a decent little grouping of ring tops and other interesting things. All right, so I didn't plan for this because I was, well, not planning to come in at 2 o'clock. Set this aside. What else do I have over here? Let me grab the trays and we'll pick something else up. So I already have an idea what I want to do in this tray. Boy, isn't that nice? Big Endura. I think we have to do that. It's missing a cap band. Where is it? No, maybe not. So it's got this, it's got a groove here for a cap band, but I think that's just to even out the one here and the one here at the end of the barrel. But this is a nice big Endura. I've had way too many surprises on pens lately, so we're just going to double, triple check that. Got a whole lot of crud in the threads. Well, so we're going to do this Endura. We got this large Moore. This is a L90. It's a 96 with the number 8 size Maniflex. Isn't that really flex? So we'll do that. How about this 94A? We'll do a little more grouping, maybe. Oh, that sounds terrible. This does not have the original nib. It's got a replacement. The inner cap is shrunk. It's kind of a disaster. Let's take a look at this one here, maybe. Here's another Moore. That one's got the original nib. We'll do this one. And we'll pick one more. This is a pretty Duofold. It could use some help with some deox on the parts. That's always fun on Duofolds. Got a nice big nib. Take a look at this here. Needs a little tweaking, but it's not too bad. Little bit of discoloration, but it's within reason. Let's try that one. That'll give us a real nice grouping to work on, and then we'll continue on these later. It's a very good group of pens. Got a little bit of the rejuvenator on my cloth here. I'm just kind of Rubbing it on the rest of these pens. That Moore is fantastic. You know, and this this 94A, I think I'm going to leave this patina. I mean, look at, I don't know if you can really see how great this is. It looks washed out, but it's very colorful. You can see the reds and the blues. All right, Hans. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you later. Normally I would polish this, but it's really a nice, even, the lever is pretty cleaned off, but in the top, in the finial, I mean, you can, it's really great. We're not going to do anything with that at all. We'll leave it as is. Oh, but that Endura is beautiful, though. I don't need to collect Enduras, but if I was going to collect one, this is, look at this color. It's really, it's about my right nib width, too. Love these clips. Press down, put it in your pocket. Somebody wants the Endura. They're calling. So 3 big pens and 2 other nice Moores. Being a little careful on this Endura. It's just such a nice pen. There are no replacement parts for this. Not here anyway. I might soak that. So this one actually has a reasonably pliable sack, but when I push down there, I get a whole lot of crunchy action. A little movement on this one, that's good. Hmm. Well, that was it for the J-bar. Hmm. There we go. So streamline means it should be a friction fit section, but you always have to double check if it doesn't come off. Always try to twist it because you never know. But you got to be careful when you twist it because you don't want to accidentally crack or break the barrel. This pen would not have filled very well. And thankfully it came out in one piece. Let's try this one more time. I guess I got lucky. All these came out with sack attached. Now, if that happens, don't forget, don't assume the barrel is clean. We're going to soak that. It just does not want to come. There could be scraps inside the barrel. From a previous restoration. Moore Jr. That's what this is. Do I have one of Scott's inspection cameras? No, I don't. We talked about it when he was just getting them developed. He was going to send me one, I think. They weren't ready at the time. I hope to see him in Chicago. It's well worth it? Okay. What does he charge for it? I guess I could just text him or look it up myself, but I just don't. All right. See if we can get this cap off here. We need the heat for that. Oh, we got to stop. I just noticed there's a large crack in the cap. It's a pretty awful crack. Oh, excuse me. Which I didn't see before because I wasn't really looking for it. And it runs all the way, almost 360 degrees around the top of the cap. And then extends up. Gosh. $29.95, huh? Wow. Well, I've spent $29.95 in worse ways, that's for sure. Well, so you absolutely can't put this in an ultrasonic. It'll shatter. And here's what I'm looking at. And you can see it right at the top, this whole line here. And there is a piece that goes up, and then it goes all the way around. And comes back. Somebody might have tried to repair it. I really can't tell. I can see an open crack going up. I just wonder if the other... I think this got stepped on. It's what this happened here. Or rolled over, or... So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whole cap in the Dr. G's. Could it be solvent molded? It's possible. There's a technique that I haven't tried yet that I've known about for a long time that might work. But I have to get the supplies. But for now, and it's, you can see ink and all sorts of stuff in there. But I really want to get this part all cleaned up. Had I not noticed that any further heat, I would have ended up with two parts. But I think if I just dunk this in here just for a little bit, throw that in there too. It'll be enough to clean out the inside and clean off the top. And I mean, finding a cap for a senior Streamline, not easy. Not at all. On the flip side, I've got some really good parts there if worse, push comes to shove. But this barrel is not too badly discolored, so it might make for a super good user grade pen. And the problem is your pen might dry out like exceptionally fast. So. All right, so this Moore, unlike the other Moore that we had, that had pins drilled in it to hold the front of the bar. Let's see if I can show this. There's the front of the bar, and you can see the pin on the end, but what it is it runs all the way down the bottom of the barrel. There's a good shot of it right there. It runs around the barrel and not through the barrel to hold up the front end of the bar. Get my fingernail into this here. You kind of see the middle of the bar as it goes down. Try to take off any, oops, sorry. So that's an improvement on the design. And then when we move to this 94A, what they're using, at this point, they're just using a standard bar, which by the looks of it, it's pretty long. It's about 62 probably, which is kind of unusual considering the length of the. I wonder if a Sheaffer bar might work decently in here, those new Sheaffer bars that I have. All right, so that more, we're going to throw that cap in. Those two caps need to soak, but I'm hesitant to put them in the ultrasonic. I might just put them in a cup of water and let them soak. Really, really nasty inside here. This I'm just gonna while we're at it, let's see how dirty this Endura cap is. A lot of pretty turquoise in there. And I could tell based on the staining on the inside of the cap, so I knew this one was going to be. These pens all came from the same collection, so and I've had some condition issues with pens in this collection, so I'm just being super careful. This cap looks good, but put it in there for a little bit. And you don't need it too long. If it's plastic, you don't need it too long on the Dr. G's. It'll. All right, let's see what we got in the ultrasonic here. There's something so beautiful about black and pearl. And something so cool about the minimal number of options available during the 30s, the 20s, and the 30s when plastics came out, such that every manufacturer came out with the same material. I am going to spin that cap out. I'm not going to spin this one out because I'm afraid the clip is not going to hold onto the cap. It's just going to shatter. Really getting a lot of turquoise ink coming out of this cap. All right. We'll try one last chance to see if we can get this open. Otherwise, I'll let it soak for the rest of the day. We're gonna have to let it soak. It just doesn't want to come open. There's a ton of ink everywhere in this pen, including in the threads, so I think we'll just... agitate it up a little bit. All right, so I'm pretty sure I don't have a cap for this, but I'll look tonight or tomorrow. In other words, we're going to try... I might try something else. I don't know. It's too nice a pen to leave, but it's worth fixing. And as they say, the price was right. But it is deteriorating fast. And I think the big problem is that it's not a clean crack. It's got multiple offshoots. And we somehow still have to get this inner cap off. Without totally destroying the cap. Because if we take this off and it doesn't come out in one piece, then we got a jigsaw puzzle. So I don't know, which is probably why this pen was just like this. And probably the good news is just to leave it well enough alone. So, all right, I am going to let that sit there for now. And I think I'm going to call it a day. At least it gets done in just a little bit, and I've got a little bit of work to do since I was a little bit... My lunch got cut short by about a half an hour. And all my prep time got eliminated today, so I'm going to do a couple things. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it. And have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, please. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. And be well. And we'll catch you tomorrow. All right, everyone. Take care.